get back to what Obama said, because specifically what Obama tweeted out is basically a calling card for his followers to pick up where he left off. He knows exactly what he's saying. He tweets out that we don't have a motive. We absolutely have a motive. There was a manifesto left, and the manifesto was very clear that this maniac wanted to either kill President Trump or his people, his supporters, or his administration people, Mahak.
Ladies and gentlemen, so what you're seeing from the Democrats after the assassination attempt on President Trump's life over the weekend is typical, because after months and years of spreading lies, calling the president all sorts of names, and now you have left-wing lunatics taking matters into their own hands, the Democrats, they don't want to take accountability, because what they're trying to do, they're trying to deflect and trying to blame President Trump for what happened. And just to show you what I'm talking about, we have this tweet from President Obama. He's trying to make it seem as if we don't know the motive of the alleged assassin, and the tweet reads, "Although we don't yet have the details about the motives behind last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it is incumbent upon all of us to reject the idea that violence has any place in our democracy." This right here is a clear lie by the former President Barack Obama, because we know the shooter, he left behind a manifesto pretty much saying why he did it, and he wanted to cause maximum harm to the president and people throughout his administration. And here we have a video of President Trump actually reacting to this manifesto that the shooter left behind. Play clip.
So-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, "Administration officials, they are targets." And he also wrote this: "I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap?
That question by the reporter is a silly question, because here she's asking the president, do you think Cole Allen, the shooter, is talking about you? And the reason why I'm saying this is a silly question is because we know he's talking about the president, not because the president has done any of those things. It's because Democrats for years have been spreading lies, have been calling the president all sorts of names. And here, just to show you, we have a Democrat, an actor, pretty much calling the president those very same names. Pretty much verbatim what's in the manifesto. Play clip.
The guy is a convicted felon or convicted rapist. He's a pedophile. He's the worst human being in the world. If we're relying on this guy's morality for the most powerful country in the world, then we're all in a lot of trouble.
And that is Hollywood for you right there, because I believe that's the Hulk. But let us go back to listen to what the president had to say in regards to the manifesto. Play clip.
But I said to myself, I'll do this interview, and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President, these are the gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
I just love when President Trump calls out these reporters for their fake news, their biases, and how they've been reporting on the news, because we know the Democrats, they've been the ones lying about the president, painting a narrative of the president, calling them names that we know are completely false. And just to show you what I'm talking about, here we have a clip, a video clip of Jimmy Kimmel a few days ago before the assassination attempt and the White House Correspondents' Dinner, pretty much saying that President Trump will pass away and that the First Lady will become a widow. Play clip.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
That was Jimmy Kimmel, a so-called comedian, joking about the passing of the president. And then a few days after this, we had an assassination attempt on the president's life, which is insane. And this is what you see with the Democrats. They call for violence time after time. And when these left-wing lunatics try to take matters into their own hands, these Democrats, they come out and they try to deflect and they try to blame someone else, which is exactly what we're seeing with Hakeem Jeffries, because here we have a video of him.
We are in an era of maximum warfare, everywhere, all the time.
The question that I have is, how is this not a call for violence? Because you, Hakeem Jeffries, as a leader of the Democratic Party, or as a leader, you're getting up there in front of people and you're telling people, well, we're in a maximum state of warfare. How is that not a call for violence? Because you're telling your followers basically that there's no other way to resolve issues, that there's no other way to resolve disputes throughout this country. And when left-wing lunatics try to take matters into their own hands, you guys are the same ones to go out there and try to deflect from what happened or try to blame someone else, which is exactly what is happening. Because here we have a clip to show you of a member of The View try to essentially blame President Trump for what happened over the weekend. Play clip.
It's odd to me that in a place that is teeming with Secret Service, with Washington, D.C. police, with all sorts of law enforcement, this could happen. But also, I think people jump to that conclusion that it is staged because Trump lies. He lies constantly, daily, and pathologically. So people do not trust and do not believe anything Trump says. His lips are moving. The likelihood is he is lying. Also, this is a man who has mastered the art, forget the art of the deal. He has mastered the art of distraction. Anytime he finds himself in hot water, his numbers right now are down in the basement. His Iran war is incredibly unpopular. People are pissed as hell at the price of gas and the price of everything going up. And so people look at this and say, oh my God, is he trying to distract us again? Because that is what he does, right? He posts crazy things and he does crazy things and says crazy things to distract us from the Epstein files, to distract us from his horrible numbers, to distract us from the failures and incompetence of his administration.
That was Ana Navarro from The View, and I think that is how you say her name. I'm really bad with names. But essentially what she's trying to do here, she's trying to justify the attack on President Trump, because people on the left, they're trying to say that, well, this attack was staged, right? And here she's trying to make the justification, try to make the argument for that. She's saying, well, President Trump, he lies. You cannot believe anything coming from the president. Instead of getting up there and say, well, we condemn any political violence and this should not be happening in our country. She's trying to get up there and trying to justify what people on the left they're trying to claim. And here we have a video from MSN Now or MSNBC. They initially tried to claim that President Trump wasn't the target of this attack, which is insane. Let us watch this, and then we'll see you on the other end.
I do want to make sure we still do not know. Obviously, many people were at this dinner. We do not know who was being targeted.
No, there is no indication right now from a protective intelligence point of view that this was intended towards Donald Trump.
That was MSN Now. Initially, they tried to spin the narrative that they didn't know who the attacker was there for. And this is what you see by the mainstream media. Whenever someone on the right, they're targeted, they pretty much said, well, we don't know why the attacker was there. They could have been there for anyone or whatever. It's because they are trying to take control of the narrative, and they're trying to essentially tell their viewers that people on the left aren't violent, when we know that is a complete lie, because most of the violence that you've been seeing is coming from the left. It's coming from Democrats. And the media, they're not calling out Democrats. And oftentimes when you have these left-wing lunatics go out there and try to attack someone, it's because of the message that they've been hearing from these mainstream media outlets like MSN Now. Another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that for months, the Democrats, they've been yelling, defund DHS, defund ICE, defund everything, right? And a core part of DHS is Secret Service. We're talking about these agents that are working without getting paid. They're out there literally taking bullets. And the Democrats, they're choosing not to fund these agencies. They're out there protecting the president, protecting people all over the country. And the Democrats, they're still refusing to pay these individuals. This is the reason why I personally cannot support the Democrats.
One other thing going on in Washington, the guy who took a bullet tonight, a Secret Service agent, they are not being paid. They work for the Department of Homeland Security. It has been unfunded for 70 days. And so when I look at these law enforcement guys, particularly at the federal level in DHS, these Secret Service guys, putting your life on the line. And I've seen a picture of one of the agents standing directly in front of the President of the United States. Oh, yeah. Heroes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolute heroes, what they do. And then look how we treat them. Look how the political system treats them. And so grateful to all the agents and all the law enforcement that put their lives on the line. One took a bullet. Now, he had the vest, but he took a bullet. Thank God for these people.
And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I also appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.